that is my July plant haul. If I do end up going shopping, which
I don't think I will.
well, little did I know after filming that video that Shane had a surprise for me. He took me to a bunch of little cute nurseries and garden centers that he always passes on his way to work. I ended up coming home with a lot more plants this month than I was expecting. Therefore, I had to make another July plant haul, part 2. The first place he took me to was actually this man's like private collection that he started, and then he put them on the back of his truck and he was selling them. We were kind of feeling like it was sketch at first, but we just were the first ones to get there that day, and about 5 or 6 other cars pulled up right after us. So it was a pretty well-known thing that people in the area knew about. So it was pretty cool. He did a lot of succulents. So I will insert a clip of a couple succulents that I got that I put in an arrangement that are outside. The other 2 that I got from him were these Tradescantias. They are so beautiful, and we wanted one of either color. I didn't really know much about these guys, so I had to do some research on them, but they seem pretty easy to maintain and they work well with hanging pots. I'm not sure if I'm going to hang them, but I wanted to kind of do an experiment. So I have one of them in this room that's high light, high humidity, and then I have the other one in the next door room that has high light, no humidity. So we'll kind of see how they do. It's really too soon to tell, but I just thought that the leaves were very unique on both of them. These leaves attracted me the most because of their coloring, and they almost have a shimmer to them, which I thought was just very beautiful and unique. I don't have anything in my collection like that. The green and white ones have their own beauty to them because, as you can see, some are just pure white and others are just pure green, and then the mixture has a really like marbling effect. The texture even is different than the other ones. This has a little bit more of a rough texture, and this is very smooth and sleek feeling. And I definitely wanted one of each. I don't know if I'm going to end up potting them together. I have seen people do that, or I just might let them grow separately and shine in their own beauty. So that is my 2 Tradescantias. Next will be my little string of pearls, which my lovely husband Shane got me for our anniversary this month. I only have a string of bananas. He got these from a seller online, which I was super excited about because I've seen people's string of pearls and they're just so long and luscious and gorgeous. It already came with a lot of babies, which I'm so excited about. If you can see that, so cute. When I first opened it, I mentioned how it just kind of looks like someone tore open a bag of peas and just kind of put them in dirt. Next would be my string of dolphins. These guys are so cool. They definitely live up to their name because even as small as this pot is, you can still see that they really do look like dolphins. Okay, let's talk about this sad guy. This is my Polynesian ivy and she looks awful. I saw her at our local Lowe's and she was honestly in the clearance aisle, but I just thought she looked so cool. Like, I really like her foliage, and I think that another name she goes by is like trailing watermelon, I think begonia, which is hilarious if you watched my part one haul. I have a very strong opinion about begonias, but she looked really bad, and she was actually in a bigger pot. I just kept her in my isolation area, and I just noticed like she has a lot of babies. She has a lot of babies growing, even though she just does not look the healthiest. So I felt like there was hope for her. I wanted to see kind of what her roots were like, so I took her out of her pot, and honestly, I felt like she was just drowning in the pot she was in. So I took her down a size so that she can start to conserve her energy and not just trying to fill that huge pot she was in. Hopefully that works. I did do a little research about her and how to propagate her, and it's kind of weird. You just take the sticks and put them in water and they'll grow roots. So we'll see. I'll have to update you guys on that if that actually works, because I'm not sure if this girl is going to make it. I really hope so, but I honestly I still have her in the isolation area. I haven't really given her a proper home. If any of you guys have Polynesian ivy
and maybe, oh, see, look at, oh, that's so sad.
I don't know, if you have any advice for me with how to help her, I would love to get some advice from you guys. So please let me know if you have Polynesian ivy, what I can do for her to help her out. Well, since I grabbed it, this girl is probably gonna move up to one of my top 3 plants that I love, which is hilarious because Shane swears up and down that like back in March, we were at Lowe's looking for plants and they had a huge Hoya compacta, and he says I knew what plant it was, but I said I didn't really like it. Maybe he's right. I have a terrible memory, so it could be completely possible. I guess I just started to fall in love with them when I saw Dela Plants. I watched a couple of her videos, and she has a Hoya compacta, and she talked about how it's a really slow grower. The more that I read about it and researched about it, it just kind of made me fall in love with it, because I feel like it would be so rewarding to have one and to see the growth, because it is a notorious slow grower. Their texture is a lot different than I expected. It's almost fuzzy and kind of soft, and it honestly reminds me of edamame, like the outer shell of edamame. That's what this reminds me of. We saw it at one of the garden centers, and I first saw just a tiny little like 4-inch pot, and I want to say it was like $20. I was ready to just get that, and we kept looking, and then we saw this big guy, and let me tell you, it was a little bit hard to spend the money because it was 60 bucks. I just wanted to get her, and I felt like I don't remember seeing her anywhere, and since that one time where Shane says we seen a Hoya compacta, I haven't seen the one since. And I just felt like, you know what, she's here, and we came here to plant shop, and I just was ready to get her. And I think that this is the only one that I ended up getting from that particular nursery. So I felt like it was worth it, because if I didn't get this one, I would have walked out empty-handed. So that's my reasoning on why I was able to get this girl. So she is in this room because I have a grow light in here. In one of my macrame baskets, I have her hanging up. I felt like I wanted to put her in here just because of the grow light that I have. I felt like that would be beneficial for her because she is a slow grower. We'll see what kind of growth I get in the next couple of months. She already has like little baby right here. All right, the next one is my satin pothos. This was also on my wish list, and I ended up seeing her at one of the first garden centers, and you can even see in the video I spot her and I just point at her, and I knew I was gonna get that one. It was the only one there. She did have some damage, so this is really the only leaf left that had any kind of yellowing. I chopped off a couple of her leaves that were pretty damaged, and I even took a clipping from her to propagate. I feel like doing that with a lot of my plants that I buy when they're kind of large, because I feel like there's some reward in growing them from the start. I had a lot of plants that I would buy that were already quite large, and people would compliment me, and it just almost felt like cheating because I wasn't responsible for that growth. You know, I just bought it like that. So I like to be able to grow something from the start and feel rewarded as it gets larger and larger. I didn't expect to collect so many different types of pothos, but I just have, I think this is my 4th variety that I've gotten. And this one is definitely different than the rest. Even the foliage is very different from my other pothos. It's not as smooth as the other ones, and the actual foliage has that kind of shine to it, and I think that's where it gets its name, satin pothos. Her leaves are so large, and that's one thing that really attracted me to her, was how large her foliage is. And she's already got some pretty large growth here. So I don't have her hanging, I just have her on my bookshelf with my other pothos. She has some really good light, and I have my large humidifier in that area because of my peace lily, but she's not really that close to it, so I'm not sure if she's getting really any humidity other than what's already in the air. I might end up hanging her depending on her growth. I definitely want this specific pothos to get long. My other golden pothos that's just in my bookshelf, I like to keep trim, but this one I think I really would like her to trail and eventually hang her. Speaking of hanging plants, my last one I'm going to talk about is down here, because I didn't feel like undoing all of this because I have her hanging obviously in my macrame basket. This is a heartleaf philodendron that I picked up. I just thought she was magnificent. I chopped a lot of her vines because she was very, very, very long. Like I said with my satin pothos, I feel like it's cheating almost because I got her so large already. And I wanted to give some clippings to my mother-in-law because she likes heartleaf philodendrons, and I feel like these leaves are so giant, and I feel like she would really like that, because the heartleaf philodendron that I started out with and that she has is much smaller. This one had a little bit of yellowing as well, and they were hanging in the nursery, and there was little spigots that would just like mist them, and I think the water was really harsh because I still have like residue on these leaves even though I've washed them with not only soap, but I also used leaf shine on them, and they still just have a lot of water spots. So I think that was one of the reasons for a lot of the yellowing in the leaves. Hopefully I can stop that from happening because I do use filtered water. She has a lot of new growth though, that's really exciting as well. A lot in the middle of her pot, so I feel like she's gonna start to get more bushier. But like I said, I cut a lot off of her, and I think I have like 8 or 10 clippings. So I'm gonna give 4 to my mother-in-law, and then eventually when they grow roots, I'm going to make a smaller pot. And I might just continue to do that with this one, just make her a mother pot and continue to cut clippings off her and create new babies, because there's something so classic about a heart leaf that just looks beautiful as decoration, whether it's hanging or whether it's on a bookshelf and just trailing down. She can pretty much be in a lot of different environments, so I just think that she is really gorgeous and I can't wait to have more of her. And my original heart leaf that I got when I first started my plant journey is just in water right now. I murdered her. I completely murdered her with my ignorance in plant care. So yeah, that is her. All right, guys, well, that's it. That completes my July plant haul. I promise, no shopping for me. Comment below if you enjoy plant hauls, because I like doing plant hauls because it means that I get to buy new plants. I'll see you guys next week.